Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. It's time to go through and thin out my corn. So I'm going to show you that. I cannot till or do anything else. It's way too wet and we're expecting a whole lot more rain today. But I do want to get this one situation squared away. So I'll talk to you about that. And then, guys, I fear it's going to get worse. Okay, so real quick, what I'm gonna do is get in the mud. I'm trying to make sure that I am doing a certain amount of chores every single day. We'll talk about that. But I'm out here where I planted my corn, and this corn is actually about 12 days old. So it's getting to be about 6 inches high. Now, I can't come in here and till right now. Okay, so that's gonna have to be coming up as soon as we can. But right now, what I'm gonna be doing is thinning it out. You wanna have about one stalk I do 4 to 6 inches. I actually pull 2 times. And the reason being is because I like to go ahead and take out the obvious ones first. And side dress is what we call it. Side dressing with the fertilizer. And then I give it a little bit more time to make sure all of them are doing really, really good. And then I come in and select, and I might pull again to thin it out to give it plenty of space to grow. Does that make sense? But that's what you do. Now, in the past, I've done the 3 sisters. I'm not doing the 3 sisters this year, but what I may do here in the next couple of days is once I get this thinned out and looking good here, I may come in and let these get a little bit stronger, a little bit taller, and I'm thinking about putting some more beans out and letting them grow on the corn because it's an effective way to at least grow 2 good items. And folks, you can't grow too much food this year. So this is the perfect example. You can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 little corn stalks growing all in one area right here. That's way too many. So what I'm going to do, I like to keep it in the line here, is I'm going to take out right now probably at least 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to leave those. There's a little bit of a gap. I'm going to see which one, continues to grow and do her thing. And then I'll continue down the road just like that. So this is why I leave a few. Some of you might, take out more than I do the first time, but I've learned that some of them don't make it. So it's always good to leave a few behind and then come back in another week or 2. And the ones that might be weak or the ones that did well, you can kind of pick and choose in between which ones you want to save the next time, okay? So these are going to be great treats for the rabbits. Now, you can come in and side dress now, which side dress means you're simply going to be putting the fertilizer along the side of the corn. You can use different fertilizers. I will tell you that I had people argue with me and tell me that fish emulsion was not effective enough. It was not high enough in this and high enough in that. I will tell you in years past, if that's what you would like to use and you've got good soil, worked like a charm for me. So do what works best for you and your farm. So before I get caught in this rainstorm, let me say what I need to say to you today. And I've even talked to James about this before I filmed because I'm always cautious about what I say. I want my channel to be a happy place and a learning place and a place of our roots and a place of our discoveries and things like that. But I have a lot of concerns and I have a lot of things at times that I feel like I hold back on, and I'm not going to hold back today. And I discussed it with James and he said, just say it. And I said, okay. So we're all living in an incredible time right now. We don't need to relive what 2020 and into 2021 has been like. We're all trying to get back to some type of normal, whatever that may be. No one denies that. And there's been all kinds of issues, health scares, politics, religion, and her. I'm being very careful of what I say. But here's what I want you to think about the most right now. Pay very close attention to the people you are close to. Why? I can only come at you in terms of what I'm going to say by what I think and what I believe. You may not agree. But if there has been a time in your life in recent years that you have sort of felt the call or the need to pay attention, to be a little bit more prepared. We've seen things happen over the last year that most of us have never seen in our lifetime. And that's kind of had a call to action in terms of preparedness, thinking ahead. We've talked about these things, your pantry, whatever. But the thing that I want to talk about the most in this segment is, are you paying close attention to mental health? Is anybody talking about this with you? Have you thought about this? You need to. It is critical. So as we have come out of 2020 and we're kind of pushing halfway into 2021, have you noticed and have you seen the mental changes in people? Not just general people. I'm not talking about, every single one of us, regardless of how we feel about anything, could say, people on social media are just crazy. They're crazy. It's crazy. People are crazy. I say it all the time. I'm talking about the people close to you, your closest, who you think or who you thought, or who are your closest friends and family. People that should be your allies. What are they doing? How are they responding to things? How are they behaving? What is going on around you? And why am I telling you to pay attention? Why am I reminding myself to pay attention? You know, those V8 moments? Folks, it's like this. The way that people respond to things now are a foreshadowing, are foretelling of how they're going to respond to things in the future. And if you're paying attention to a lot of things that are going on, folks, we're at a tipping point on a lot of different things. And the way that others that are close to you, in how they are responding to things or how they are dealing with things, that affects you. If you've lived through the last 18 months of your life, I am going to bet. I'm not going to bet just one donut. I'm going to bet an entire dozen. And I'm going to bet them, I'm going to throw sprinkles on them, honey. I bet you have seen huge changes in people. I bet you have seen huge disappointments in people. I bet you have lost friends for various reasons. Politics, religion, health reasons, da-da-da-da-da-da. You've seen people respond to everything that's gone on the last 12 to 18 months, probably in a way that you didn't expect. You've probably seen them change. You've probably seen people make very bad decisions. You've probably seen people change jobs, lose jobs, not just because of the economy, but because of what's going on up here. You've seen people go back to a lifestyle because of stress and depression and isolation, and they've started doing things that they got away from. You probably have dealt with certain levels of unfortunate passings of people. You've probably seen people age exponentially. This is all a mental drain on you and everybody around you. The difference between you and them is that I'm trying to make you to be more aware of this. Why is that important? Well, the reason that is important is because if people are not responding well to what's going on around us and with people and with the world very well right now, what's going to happen when it gets worse? I'm not a financial guru. Never claimed to be. But I think there's some obvious signs that we've got some serious problems. And I don't really see anybody doing anything to fix it. And it's being compounded by multiple issues. That's not what this video is about. What I'm saying to you is, are you watching people do nothing? Are you watching people just be in denial? Are you watching people be angry? Are those the people that are in your inner circle? I have a serious problem with people playing victim. Now, that doesn't mean that bad things don't happen to people and that people aren't justified in having issues or down emotions about things that have happened in their life. That's not what I'm talking about. But what are they doing to try to combat that? That's what matters. When things get hard and things get tough and people have to pull together, folks, what's going on here has to be first. In the last year, we have felt a major call to action in our little family to try to do as much as we can on our homestead. I don't talk about this a lot on my videos because I don't want to be a point of stress every time you come to YouTube. I want you to learn something or to giggle or have a good time or go, oh my Lord, or whatever. But honestly, there's always details. And I tell you all the time to stay busy. And that is not just because you should keep your pantry full as you can. It's not just because I want you to be healthy. It's because you need to stay busy so that you maintain your mental health. It is critical. Again, we're on the edge of so many things. We're just riding right along it. You know it. I know it. The elephant's standing right here. So let's not deny it. We have to be proactive. And I'm warning you to be very, very careful and to be very, very cautious of the people in your life and how they are dealing with all the trauma and drama and all of the things that are going on around us. Because when the poop hits the fan, you can't necessarily do a lot of things on your own. Or let's say poop hits the fan and you're the people, you're the family, you're the person that people are going to run to. Folks, you're not going to have time to be dealing with being Dr. Phil. It's going to be all hands on deck. It should already be all hands on deck. So I'm not telling you to cut people off or to, not help people that need help. But I'm making you aware of the fact that the number one issue that you could be dealing with in the very near future, in fact, I would argue you're already dealing with it, is folks' mental health. I think all of us have gone through the ringer in the last 12 to 18 months. We may look good, we may be working fine, but we've all had stress. We've all have had trauma or drama. The difference is are you coming out of your states of paralysis? That's what happens to me. When I get traumatized or I get upset, I don't mean angry. When I get really traumatized by what I fear could be happening, I become, in a sense, paralyzed. That is a dangerous state to be in. You must fight it at all times. Be watching for these clues and cues with your spouse, with your mom, with your children. It's critical that we understand what we're dealing with in terms of the mental aspect of all the trauma that we've all experienced the last 12 to 18 months. This is why I tell you to turn off the news. This is why I tell you to limit your time on social media. This is why I tell you pick and choose who you watch and listen to, because if it's constant this and constant that and you are in a state of paralysis, you know what? You're not out here thinning your corn. And let me tell you, you need to be the boy that could grow corn. So this is what I'm doing. This is my personal commitment. I spend several hours every day just by default, just like many of you, tending to my homestead. You have to feed your animals. You have to clean certain things. You have to tend to certain things. Not every day is the exact same, but on average, I spend at least 2 to 4 hours working in some capacity. And most of the time it's outside or in the barn or in the coop or something like that. Push that. Push it. This is why I'm telling you. I could have gotten to the store already, I went inside, taken my shower, I've got some errands to run, and I'm going to. And I could have put this off. And you know what I did? I was in the bathroom, and I was getting ready, and James called, and I said, nope, I'm not leaving yet. I am going to thin out my corn and straighten it up, even if it takes me 30 minutes to an hour and I get out later. I might be a little bit muddy. So what? Let the world see you a little bit muddy. They need to be muddy too. So folks, here's what I'm telling you. Stay very, very busy. Be aware of the people that you are spending your time with. Watch them closely. Talk with them. Understand how they respond to things. Get them busy. Because folks, I'm going to tell you right now, in my worst place of paralysis and fear, if things could ever go to the level that just thinking about fear sets me into total paralysis and fear, it's going to take everybody you know. It's going to take all of us. And we're going to have to be right. Remember when Granny would tell you, she ain't right? You're going to have to be right. Pick and choose your circle. Pick and choose wisely. And stay very, very busy. All right, enough jib-jab. I've got 2 more rows to do. We got to get this done, honey. Stay well, stay the course, stay busy. See you on the next video.